Alright, welcome back to the sixth clip on chapter 13. Let's continue from where we left off from the previous class. We've covered this. Okay, now the thing to remember here is that returns can be divided into two: expected return and the unexpected return. Now this unexpected return, the collection or the distribution of unexpected return can be represented by total risk. How do you measure total risk? We use variance and standard deviation. You can use that as a measure of total risk. But we found that when we combine certain stocks in a portfolio, there will be some portions of the risk that can be eliminated. This total risk can be eliminated. Some portion of the total risk can be eliminated. So this is called diversifiable. The risk that you can eliminate through investing in more than one stock is called diversifiable risk. So that we call this diversifiable, and there's another name for that risk. It's called unsystematic risk. It's called unsystematic risk. Let me get the pointer here. Unsystematic risk. Now, the portion that you cannot diversify, that means you cannot eliminate through diversification, we call that non-diversifiable risk. And we also have another name for that called systematic risk. Alright, so therefore we have seen from the example with the portfolio where we have two stocks, A and B. The two stocks move in opposite directions, and therefore you find that a large portion of the risk, the total risk, can be eliminated through diversification. So a large portion is diversifiable in that particular example. But here there will be some portion which is non-diversifiable, and we call that systematic risk. Is that okay? So that's what we say. Therefore, we can say that the actual return is made up of expected return plus systematic portion and unsystematic portion. That's what this slide tries to explain. Now, systematic risk. So we need a measure of systematic risk here. What is systematic risk? Systematic risk will be risk factors that affect a large number of assets. That means this risk cannot be diversified or cannot be eliminated through diversification. It cannot be eliminated through diversification if a large number of assets are affected by the same factors. Let's say stock A, stock B, stock C, all these stocks, so many stocks in the market, they are all affected by the same factors. Then this will be a systematic risk, meaning you cannot diversify. You cannot eliminate through diversification. Diversifying means, as you will see later on, is trying to invest in more than one stock at the same time. That's called diversification. Now, this is also known as non-diversifiable risk. And there is another name which is also market risk. So therefore, there are three names: systematic risk, non-diversifiable risk, or market risk. This includes things such as changes in GDP, inflation, and interest rates. So all these affect all the stocks to some extent. Some stocks will be more affected, some stocks will be less affected, but there will be no stocks that will be not affected, or very few stocks will be not affected. Some will be affected positively, some will be affected negatively, but still these are systematic risk. Now let's look at unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk are risk factors that affect a limited number of assets, maybe a few, one or two, not too many, or a single asset, a single stock. So this is also known as unit risk or asset-specific risk. So there are three names here: unsystematic, unit risk, or asset-specific risk. There's another name also. It's also called as diversifiable risk. Diversifiable risk. This is called diversifiable risk. Unit risk is diversifiable. Asset-specific risk is also diversifiable, and unsystematic risk is also diversifiable. This includes things like labor strikes. Labor strikes in a particular company, for example, or only in a particular industry. It only affects one particular industry and not the other industries. or parts shortages. For example, a company may not have enough parts, due to poor scheduling, or maybe due to the parts being faulty. They have to return the parts and they don't have other parts to continue with the production. So this will affect the return for that stock of the company, but it will not affect all the other stocks in the market. Okay, so this is called unsystematic, not in the system. It only affects one or two or three, a few companies, not all the companies in the system. Okay, that's why it's called unsystematic. Okay, I hope you understand that. Okay, with that we stop this clip, and then we continue with the next clip. Alright, thank you.